One of the key tasks that we perform before we start to the data transformation is data profiling. What is data profiling? It is the process of understanding more about the data. It's a process of understanding more about the data. Now the question is, why do I need to do the data profiling? The advantage of performing data profiling is to improve the quality of your data. Not all the data we receive from our customer are in a good shape. Most of the time, in the real world, 80% of the data or 75% of data has a lot of 70% of data whatever you received, right? Sorry, out of 100% of data, 75% data you can find a lot of data related issues. Yeah, just to help you to recall my earlier discussion, to develop a report or dashboard, the bare minimum requirement is you need to have the data. The data can be one file or it can be available in multiple source system or more than one file. Without data, you cannot do anything. Okay, the data are available now, but how good the data are? If the data has some issues in it, or if the data is dirty, it has a lot of missing values and the formatting issues are there, and the wrong data type assigned to the wrong columns, okay, or the wrong data type assigned to the columns, okay, and you need to address all these formatting related issues, and you need to merge the data. Sometimes you need to combine multiple data file into single data file. All the things you need to do it, but before you do all the things, it is always a best practice. First explore the data, how good the data are, what problem, do we have any problem in our data or not. Okay, so look here, so as part of data profiling, right, so what we will do is we have three options. One is the column quality. Okay, so the column quality helps us to display the percentage of valid versus error versus empty data. See, in a perfect world, 100% of the data will not be valid, right? But that's hardly the case in, right? So the 100% data will not be. See, in the perfect world, 100% of the data will be valid. But are we living in the perfect world? No, right? So in most of the cases, as I told you, a lot of data related. We spend most of the time in cleaning the data only. Okay, a lot of data issues will be there. The column quality helps us to understand, each column wise, how many number of values in each column are valid, how much percentage of values are in each column are valid, error, and empty data. You can find out with the help of column quality. And we have something that's called column distribution. It displays the data distribution within the column, and also it gives us an idea about how many number of distinct and unique values are there in the columns. Okay, now the question is, what is distinct value and what is unique values? We will take a look at that one in a little later. And the next one is column profile. The column profile gives us the more in-depth overview of the columns, including the count of rows, and if there were errors while importing the data in the specific column, all things it will show. You can also check the number of empty rows, okay, and with the help of the column profile. Okay, and okay, enough talking. We will quickly jump into the Power BI desktop and we will see how we can use this simple feature. Though it appears simple, it plays an important role. Okay. Let me import another file to do this, because that data will cover all the things. One second, let me see that one. I think sales by country, no, sales by customer, I think sales by Yeah, this is the one, sales by customer.csv. Click on open. Since it's a CSV file, it will get loaded into your Power BI desktop itself. Okay, good. So I just click on load. You need to have a lot of patience because it will take quite a time. Okay, sales by customer got loaded here. I just go to the data view and click on the sales by customer to view the data that are available here. Okay, fine. So in this column I can see there is a blank value here, and for these 4 columns we can see a blank value here. Your date of birth, so look here, some null is there, here empty values are there. This is my Boolean data type. Boolean is true or false. Okay, and in Power BI desktop the Boolean values are specified like true. The first letter must be T, capital T, and false. In the case of false, the first letter should be F. Okay, the capital letter. Okay, and that's it. Okay, this is my data set. What I do is I just click on this one. I go to the transform data, Power Query editor. Currently we are into Power Query editor, and it shows the data from sales week 04. This is not what we want to see. We wanted to see the data in sales by customer. Hence you need to click on the appropriate query without fail. Okay, and here I can see the customer name in its sold. Whatever I have seen it here, right, the same thing is displayed here. See, in the data view, whatever I have seen it, look here, same thing I can see it here. But the difference is, you can, in here, right, in this thing, under the view tab, you need to turn on the column quality and column profile. Look here, I just turned off. I'm going to click on column quality one after another. If I unselect it, what is happening? It simply shows the column name and the values. So this is my column name and these are my values. In between these two, if I select this one, across all the columns you can find valid percentage and empty and valid. So in this column 89% of the data are valid, and we can see empty 11%. In this column 67% of the values are valid and empty is 33%. So this is not a good sign, but we don't see any error here, but empty is there. We need to address it. Okay. Fine. So what I do is, with the column quality, I can understand whether we have empty records. Yes. Whether we have error. In case of any error, you need to fix it. Without fixing it, if you go ahead and create the report, it will cause some problem. Okay. That is the reason I first explore the data. Fine. I'm going to click on the column profile now. When I selected this one, for each column I am getting some other additional information. So by looking at the this is called your distribution, values distribution in your column called customer name. You can see the Baron, there is a big horizontal bar here compared to Larry and other values. This this bar is lengthy, right? Lengthy one. So why it is lengthy? And if you hover the cursor here, it will tell you the percentage of values. What is the percentage of value of Baron is appearing in this column, 33%, and Larry is just 11%. Rest of them are 11%. And if you if you drag this down here, you can see that Baron is occurring more than one time compared to Larry. Larry occurs only one time, and True occurs only one time. 22 only. This guy, name is appearing more than one time. Hence, so now we understood just by looking at the distribution of these values, barren occurs many times, more than one time. Right? So now you understood with distribution how you can interpret this one. And then if you see here in the column strategies, count 9. How many number of values are there? 9. Look here. This is quite interesting. 9. But we can see only the 8 values here. The ninth one is empty record. Empty here, empty, right? But still it takes into account of the empty here. When I look at the empty here, it is showing 0 here. Guys, please watch here, okay? We have, if you see the entire table, we have 9 records are there. Look here, 9 records are there, 9 values or 9 records. But in this column, though we have only 8 values are available and 9th value is blank, it's supposed to show empty as 1, but it shows 0. Why? Because this is a text column. Look here, the customer name is a text data type. Look here, along with the column name, we can see the data type as text ABC. ABC says is a text. In the case of text data type of your column, even if you have empty value, it will be considered as an empty string. This is a very important point. Empty string. Since the empty value, the empty thing also considered as an empty string, hence empty is 0. Those of you worked in other programming languages like Python, you must be knowing this one, okay? What is empty string? Okay, because in the case of text data type, it will consider the empty as an empty string. Whereas in this case, look here, unit sold, and if you go back to this one, look here, the unit sold 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth record. If you see your blank value, and if you go to the power query, right? So in the unit sold, fourth record, if you go here, true, right? Along with the true, in the here, right? In the true here, you can see the blank values here, and both sales and unit sold has 0 there, blank value. Though it has a blank value there, the fourth one, Power BI automatically replaces the empty values with null, N-U-L-L. Okay? But in this case, it is not replacing the empty value by null because it is a text data type. So look here, these are all number data type. Even in the case of Boolean data type, it replaces the empty value by null. But in the case of text, you need to remember this one. In the case of empty value, it will consider empty string. It will not consider empty. Look here, I just click on this one. See here, empty is 0, and if I click on this unit sold, look here, empty is 3. Count the null values 1, 2, 3. 3 empty values are there. Now I am correct, right? Okay. And what else? And then the column distribution. If you click on this one, each column it creates a distribution. So here, this is a little bit different, the distribution, the column distribution. Here we can see 7 distinct values, 6 unique values. You might be wondering, those of you worked in RDBMS also, right? You might get confused here. What is this distinct and unique? Both of them are same, right? But no, here there is a difference here. So what this one says is distinct in Power BI. The number of occurrences of each value, irrespective of the number of occurrences, more than one occurrence, right? It considers each, it considers the distinct values. For example, barren, or the total number of different values, regardless of how many times it appears in your data set. So barren appears more than one time. But so barren is only one person, right? Though his name appears more than one time, he is only one person, single person. Hence, we will have to consider this a 1. Okay, and then Larry is another person, 2, and true is another thing, 3. 22 is the different value, 4. And barren we already took into account, and Rach is 5. and Chris is 6, and the empty string, including the empty string, 7 values. 7 distinct values are there. I repeat it here. What is distinct here? The total number of distinct values, regardless of the fact that how many times it appears in the data set. See, Baron appears more than one time. Just because it appears more than one time, can I consider 3? Because Baron represents single person. Why should I count 3 times, right? So Baron 1. So basically we want to find out the distinct names. Though it appears multiple times, we are just taking the distinct names. Baron, Larry, True, 22. And we are not supposed to count Baron. If I count it, it is a stupid thing, right? Because it represents the same thing. Okay. See, in a class, you just think in a class, how many number of students are there? So they have written it in a paper. So Baron name appears more than one time because he took the quiz 3 times. That means, right, we cannot say three Barons are there in my class. We cannot say that, right? So here, now you understand what is distinct, and the second one is unique. As the name suggests, if you have duplicate values, simply ignore that. So Baron is occurring more than one time, hence it is a duplicate, simply ignore that. Larry, 1, it appears only one time, take into account, and True appears only one time, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and then the empty string. Understood, right? The difference between distinct and unique. The same thing is applicable here. 6 distinct and 4 unique values are there. The null is duplicate here, right? So it will ignore this one. Let's look at the unique value. And 10, 15, 12, sorry, 10 is duplicate, and 15, 12, 2 times. Look here, I just highlighted 15 and 12, we don't see any duplicate. And can you see 6 here? No, right? And the 10 is duplicated, 10, and then null also duplicated, and 0 was not duplicated. Hence we can see 4 unique values. What is 6 distinct? Distinct is you need to take into account of this 10 also, right? So but only one value, not the 2 things. So 5 and the null, null, right? And 10, 15, 12 and 3, 4, 5, right? So how it shows 6 here, 6 distinct. 10 it took into account of 1 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. Guys, you have any clue? Can you make out why it 6 distinct, right? So okay, irrespective of the fact that it displays multiple time, it takes into account. 10 it took only one time, and 6, 0. Yeah, null, right? Yeah, we need to take into account null. See, null I missed out. So 12, 15, 10, 6, 0, null. Correct. 6 distinct values. Got it? Similarly, you need to look at it here. This is how you need to interpret it. How many unique values are there? How many distinct values are there? See, sometimes, let's say the stores manager, you know very well, right? So you have only 15 stores managers are there. But if you see the unique values more than 15, then something wrong. You can correct it, right? So for example, Baron, I have in another value, I can see there is a typo or typing mistake for Baron. Instead of double R, single R is there. We don't have 2 different person with this name. The same person name got typed wrongly in the next record as BARON. Just by looking at this unique number of values, we will get a quick idea. Oh man, something wrong with my data. How come I have 7 unique managers are there? I should have only 6. When you look at the data, you see here BARON is there. No, there is a typo here. It's supposed to be BARRON. Correct it. Otherwise, what will happen is when you create a report, right, manager-wise sales performance, it'll it'll show that Baron underperformed. Actually, the last record also related to Baron, right? You understood, right, the context what I'm talking? So now you understood how important performing the data profiling before you start do the data cleaning or data transformation and all, right? Fine. So now I just go ahead. Now we explored the column quality, column profile, column distribution, and also I explained with the how you need to interpret the distinct and unique, how you need to interpret these distributions here, value distribution. Okay, all these things we have seen it. Okay, it's already 10:30, close to 10:30. I'm going to wrap up the session. You have, before I wrap up the session, do you have any questions? And before that, I just click on close and apply. This is the one I shared it yesterday. I did some kind of data profiling. I loaded another file. I just save it. I will share it right after this session, okay, so that you can use this file and refer my video and pass it wherever it is required, and then you just cross verify, okay, whatever I did was correct, or if you have any gap in understanding it, just pause the video and check it out. Hope it sounds good, right? Okay, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. By the way, advanced Independence Day wishes to you all. See you next weekend, okay? In the meanwhile, keep watching my videos and start download this file and start work on this and watch all my videos so far, whatever I covered, and keep sending the questions. Okay, send me some good.
Managed BA enterprises and self-service BA. Self-service BA.
Okay. Self-service BI and managed BI, right?
Yes, sir.
See, self-service BI, even a person with simple Excel knowledge, he can create the simple reports, simple dashboards using Power BI desktop. He doesn't have to rely on any tech-savvy guys. For example, if you take any company, they have the business group and they have the technology group. The business people, they know the business very well. If they want to create an advanced report or dashboard, they do not know the technical, they are not so sound. In that case, what they do is they'll explain their business requirement, the logic to the IT team. The IT team, the information technology team, right, they have some technically sound guys, they understand their business requirement, they will create the report to them. But when it comes to Power BI, to create a simple report, moderately simple or moderately complex report, you don't have to rely on IT team. Let's say you are a business analyst, you know the business in and out, but you do not know Power BI very well, and it doesn't require too much of coding skills to create a simple report and all, right? You can go ahead and create. That's what self-service. Who can, it's something like do it yourself, right? That is the thing. But managed BI is something like you cannot do it. It's not that simple. Okay, you'll have to depend on somebody else. It's not that easier. You need to have some kind. For example, if you want to develop a report in Python, okay, and you have pandas packages available to do data analysis, and you have data visualization packages available. Still, you need to have the technical knowledge. You need to know the programming language some extent. There is a learning curve there, but when it comes to Power BI desktop and Tableau, ClickSense and all, the learning curve is not much to create a simple and moderately complex report. You don't have to depend on others. You yourself can create it. That's all. Hope I answered your question. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, guys. Thanks for all your patience. I'm going to end the session now. See you next weekend. Till then, please go, keep watching the videos, keep practice it.